Yay Media Group.
Welcome to a brand new episode of the Fitish Podcast. I know it's been a couple of weeks. We have been down for the count. You are still struggling.
Yes, it's been like a pandemic all over again.
It has. We all got sick. You know how this goes. I think we're actually pretty lucky that we got sick so few times so far, considering Remy's been in school, because I know that's a deal that a lot of parents always complain about, right? Like, oh my God, we're always sick. But yeah, we've all been sick. Me, bronchitis, Fran with a double ear infection, which then ruptured. You're still hard of hearing, which I can't decide though. Like, I believe him, but in moments, you know, he has selective hearing anyway, and this has given him the perfect excuse to ignore me all the time. And then I had bronchitis and lost my voice, so I couldn't yell and he couldn't hear. So we were just like a
perfect couple.
A true perfect old couple. By the way, I am addicted to Suero.
Suero. Yeah. So in the city, it's called Suero.
Suero.
If you go anywhere
yes,
in province, it's called Rusa.
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 Rusa. Rusa.
Rusa.
We'll get there.
Okay, so this is so simple, and this is such a common drink. If you watch us on YouTube, you can see I'm drinking it. I'm going to put it down. But I have to let y'all know, maybe many of you say, Jenna, old news, basic, whatever. But this is, for a long time, forever been like a hangover drink here for people. But it's simple. It's nothing more than fresh squeezed lime juice, Topo Chico, and a little bit of not table salt, more like Himalayan salt, I guess, in there, right? But
any salt.
I'm not even really that into salt, so sometimes people oversalt it, but it's such an electrolyte replenisher, and it's such a nice version of, you know, it's like Topo Chico with fresh lime juice and a little bit of salt. I'm obsessed with it. I get it all the time. I'm actually should drink more regular water probably, but this is so easy for you to make at home. I know it sounds a little weird. I think you would love it. And if you're Mexican, you're like, yeah, Jenna, shut up. I already drink this all the time. But anyway, I'm surprised, as with everything else that America has adapted from Mexico, I'm actually surprised that this hasn't gained more popularity, you know, especially with the popularity of a ranch water.
Well, so it gained popularity, but with tequila, as you said.
With tequila. So it's like the same thing. Yeah, it is. It's the same thing, but you had tequila.
Yeah, you know, America takes it and just makes it in a different level, you know?
Anyway, so that's been my latest addiction. I will say, I said to Fran, I don't know if this is true or not, I haven't been eating great. And I know it's the holidays too, but like I haven't been eating that great in general or working out, and I have not gained weight. And I know a lot of people say that about living in Europe. What? Why'd you give the camera that head tilt?
Yeah, because it's just like the most obnoxious things to say. Like, you know, it's like that skinny girl that says, I just eat trash all day and look at me, I'm so skinny.
Wow. I love how you view me. And I'm so glad it's like for public consumption.
Hey.
No, I'm not saying that in a way to be annoying. I think it's that a lot of people ask me this question, have I noticed like food quality being different? You know, so when you hear people go to Europe and they eat and they drink and they eat all this cheese and they eat all this pasta and they drink all this wine, they come back and they say, I never felt hungover and I didn't gain any weight on my vacation. You think that's an obnoxious thing to say? I think it's more commentary on like preservatives in food in the States.
I apologize.
That wasn't my question.
No, I think the obnoxious thing to say is what I said. It was obnoxious, but I interrupted.
Obnoxious isn't a word. It's obnoxious.
Obnoxious. Thank you.
You correct my Spanish a lot, so I'm just helping you out.
Thank you.
I don't think it's obnoxious. I think it's actually just very interesting to me because I was wondering how my body would do here. And
it's doing great.
And I just feel that even eating, I'm not going to say I eat like shit all the time. You know, I don't eat fast food and stuff every day, but I'm not going like carb-free, sugar-free, that sort of thing. So I wonder if there is a real difference. It's the altitude, maybe. Fran's so tired of me saying this, by the way. I go, it's the altitude. I feel sick because of the altitude. I haven't gained weight because of the altitude. Yeah. I'm out of breath all the time. I'm like, even during this podcast, I can't.
That's the altitude.
That's the altitude. Yeah. I've adjusted.
You look beautiful.
Oh, today. Thank you. It's the
It's the altitude. Oh,
It's the sperm.
okay.
I got a salmon sperm
You don't
facial.
have to go to a special place for that, you know? I give facials for free.
So someone here invited me to a spa that she has a deal with, and she said, "Do you want to get a facial?" I'm like, "Yes." I'm never going to say no to a spa treatment if you know me. And I love trying new weird beauty trends. So I didn't know what I was in for. I thought I was just going to get kind of like a regular facial maybe, but no, it is a salmon sperm.
Did they take the sample of the salmon fresh there? Like, do they go with the salmon and
They had me do it, actually.
really?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know
Wow.
it's
Did you learn
just,
any?
yeah. Do you know it's just one squeeze? Typical
When
man,
you,
right? Typical man. It's just like one pump and you have all the DNA.
but how big is the salmon to use both hands? Like, what type of is that guy named Salmon?
It's young salmon.
Is the doctor like Dr. Salmon?
Dr.
Like,
Salmon.
oh, everybody goes there and lets their wife go. It's like, yeah, it's just I'm just putting salmon sperm in my face. Like, I can see this a brothel she went to.
Okay, upon more research, the funny part about this is I've been recording, if you follow me on TikTok, every week our main staff call because we have a lot of meetings. I've been kind of posting snippets of behind the scenes of running the business and stuff because I think, some people find it interesting. But Blake, who's the only guy that is full-time employed by Fitish, he was so funny because when I wanted to announce to the call, like right off the bat, because I was applying skincare when they joined, that I got it because I thought they'd have a nice laugh. And Blake, and I said the same thing. How are they extracting the sperm? It's actually salmon DNA. Okay, so let me say that. I do know that it used to be called sperm, but I think that kind of got a bad connotation, even though I find it to be amazing.
Why.
And so now they call it DNA. So maybe there's other particles in there. But Blake knows a lot about this because he has done a lot of fishing in his life. He's also been to a lot of hatcheries. And he says that it's very common. He says it's actually incredible to watch. He just sent me a video on it this morning so you and I could watch the extraction. Salmon porn tonight if you want. But you literally, he says they do it with the women too.
Pretty much a lot of things, but salmon porn, I don't know.
You squeeze it and just all the eggs just plop out.
Eggs.
Yeah. And then the same thing with the males. And that's how at the hatcheries they get stuff flowing, I guess, because I don't know. They don't have intercourse.
No. No. I think they just release one, they release the other, and they fertilize in the water.
The eggs fertilize themselves.
I watched a lot of Animal Channel when I was a kid, but don't quote me. I'm not a porn salmon expert,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ask me about horses. I've seen that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so I'll let y'all know, but I think my skin looks good.
Your skin looks great. That's the first thing I said when we sat down. You look great.
It was nice. So actually, to finish how they do it, they microneedle. So they numb you, and then they rub a microneedler, which is a bunch of tiny, tiny needles. It didn't hurt at all. It was like a zero.
Are you tied up?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's nice.
Pinned down, tied up. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you wearing leather?
Naked. No, naked.
Oh.
Yeah.
The doctor is the one wearing leather.
Yeah, they didn't even take my shirt off.
The what?
I didn't even take my shirt off. Like,
man.
I had a sweater on, so it was very normal. So they say that once a month is actually like the preferred protocol for microneedling. But I had some bug bites, and I've noticed like a real difference with my skin texture. But it's only been 2 days. They say it takes a couple weeks to kind of see the full results of the sperm.
Sounds good.
Just like with everything else. So I'll let you know how that goes. But yeah, we've just had it a little bit rough and being so sick, but it's still so nice. I feel so happy here. I love this time of year. But y'all, was anyone gonna fill us in on Elf on the Shelf? Because I, day one out of the gate screwed it up. Brandon and I said, okay, obviously we want to do Elf on the Shelf, right? I don't know why I'm whispering like it's a secret. I want to do Elf on the Shelf. Because it's so fun. You watch other people and these elaborate things some of y'all do. I mean, geez, how late are you staying up at night? Fran and I, every morning, we look at each other, Elf's in the same damn place. We're like, distract him. Distract our naughty boy because, like, Elf went to the North Pole. So day one, he grabs him. I then, of course, put two and two together. That's why we call it on the shelf, because they cannot touch them. And of course, Megan, who is my marketing director, she messages me when she sees my video. She goes, he can't touch them. The elves lose their magic power. I was like, Megan, are you believing this? Chill.
The thing is that let's just start with the fact that we're in Mexico and you don't go to Walmart and find an elf on the shelf. So the deal to get an elf on the shelf was kind of the same as trying to get drugs. I met in a garage in a parking lot.
You did?
Yes. I found this like in Mexico Craigslist. And we've been talking, like filling up, saying like, are we legit?
Sending
We're gonna
selfies.
kill each other.
If you died over a transaction of a Navidad elf,
we go into this parking garage, and she has a trunk full of elves. It's like, where do you get this? Of course, she didn't tell me, but she's like, and it was a very wholesome story. Like, I'm paying through gynecology school. I'm a doctor and I'm working to be a gynecologist, and as like, and I sell elves to pay for. So they have to write articles, and every article is like $2,000 that they have to write. So she's making like, she's very creative. Like, she goes with the season, and the next thing she buys huge batches of whatever things like Valentine's. I'm pretty sure she's gonna start selling like flavored condoms. I don't know. And
do y'all hear this? If you didn't hear this with your own ears, you would find this story hard to believe, wouldn't you? You'd be like,
oh, I don't know what she sells. I'm just saying, like what do people buy in Valentine? I don't know.
Candy hearts?
Maybe. But
roses?
I'm pretty sure they can
Valentine's
find
cards?
candy hearts.
Flavored condoms?
Candy hearts they can find.
You would lose
in
that
Walmart.
game. What's that game where you have to like guess the category? Flavored condoms. Flavored condoms for $100.
Flowers you can buy in every corner in this city. I don't know where you buy flavored condoms.
I don't.
Oh, we'll call her. See if she has already the Valentine's batch.
Can I have those condoms de cereza? Porfa.
A Tootsie. Anyhow, this podcast, and this note should be at the beginning, is rated R.
No, it's fine. I have to say though, like when you buy me the Elf on the Shelf in Spanish and it's the morning of, tearing into the box, I have not read the story. I know you're supposed to read the story to the child every night probably, but it's all in Spanish. No idea, don't know the rules. First morning, that elf's in the fireplace. I was trying to like sell him on the story that it came down the fireplace, and he picks it up and rips off that little, its little white collar. He goes, oh no. I go, oh, that's okay. On the spot, like, he goes back to the North Pole every night. He's going to get fixed up tonight. And then I'm thinking like, I got to go buy glue. I got to fix this elf tonight, And then this morning he was in our room, but he didn't even look for him. So I'm like rolling up toilet paper, doing stuff. I don't know how some of y'all do these elaborate. And he's going to get smarter over time. He's going to be like, I don't know about this whole
I give him 2
charade.
years.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, that kid is so clever. Nothing goes by him.
No, I swear, does your child do this? He'll be like, Mama, what's in your mouth? What's in your mouth? Squeeze my cheeks. And I'm like trying to hide cookie dough that I've been like shoveling in. I don't want him to ever have that. I'm like, nothing. Mama, what's in your mouth?
Candy. It's candy.
No.
Like, it's medicine. Everything that you don't want him to have, it's medicine.
Yeah, it's medicine. So, it's so yucky.
Yeah.
It's so yucky. But other than that, this season has been really good to us. I'm very happy here, and I feel so good about it because I was feeling so out of place for a while, having moved to another country, not understanding the language, even living somewhere like Baja where there's obviously a lot of English speakers, but that was such a different lifestyle change. I feel much more at home being able to nest in a house and kind of have gotten
And
into
in
more of a
our house.
routine. I also feel so much more comfortable with the language than I did, I mean, week over week, that, and a lot of you ask me, how are you learning? What are you doing? And I'm fully intending on getting a tutor to come over here, but y'all, drowning. I'm drowning in Spanish, and
As long as it's not Dr. Salmon.
that's the only way that I feel I'm learning is because I'm Google translating something every 2 seconds. Like I think I actually, aside from the podcast and speaking with my mom, I tend to use in a day more Spanish than English, unless I'm, speaking to my team and stuff like that. So you know what you've been doing a lot lately that I notice? You speak to me in Spanish.
Yeah.
But like accidentally, and then you catch yourself. And then I find that some of the female friends I've made that are Mexican or from here, Latin, they will be out to eat and we'll be in the middle of a conversation and they'll turn to the waiter and speak in English and then totally catch themselves and laugh because I'm ruining it for everyone.
You know what is so crazy? Like, it will be so easy for you to learn the language. And I see our child. He is not even 3 years old. And you ask him something in English, he'll answer in English. You ask him something in Spanish, and he will answer in Spanish. It's just crazy. Like it's so amazing how your brain develops.
My brain's expired.
Oh, it's still developing.
My brain is not still developing. My brain is dead.
Oh, maybe. Then I don't know. I think it's still developing.
My brain is like Wheezy's body right now.
No, Wheezy's body is just rotten inside. Like I'm pretty sure at some juncture that we were in a trip or something, Dr. Frankenstein came and did something to that dog because it's dead inside.
I don't know how she's alive.
Like she's still the same energy.
Wheezy, come here. You hear her? I was going to show her off for camera. Okay, Wheezy, come here. Oh, here she comes. She is. She's the Franken dog. Come here. Everyone wants to see you. Come here. For those of you watching, I'll post a clip. Look at her. Oh, she smells. There she is.
No teeth. Just
here
gums.
She is. Just gums. There she is. Not very comfy, sorry, huh? She still heard me. That's what's crazy too. She hears. She hears better than you.
What?
This is all an act. I don't know when this is gonna change.
It's been 7 days.
But you can't hear.
8 days. What's the Wednesday? Yes, it started Wednesday last week.
But you know what, Wheezy, I love you, Mama, but you gotta lay down because it'll be distracting. Are all men the same? This is my question to the audience because Francisco was dealing with this and I have ruptured an eardrum, the same eardrum twice actually, and went through a lot of ear issues as a kid. And so it was actually some years ago, I had been sick, I was traveling for work, and on the plane ride home when we took off, the pressure, I've never felt anything like in my life. Felt like someone was stabbing me in my ear. I was trying to talk to this nice woman, by the way, like next to me, who was a teacher, and I just couldn't. I was like, I'm so sorry. I had to stop. And for about 30 seconds, it was the most excruciating pain, one of that I've ever felt, maybe aside from having a baby. And all of a sudden I heard whistling. I felt what I thought was water. And this woman was like, your ear's bleeding. Are you okay? And I was like, oh my gosh, I think I might have just ruptured an eardrum. Certainly that's what I did. And I felt that the same thing was happening to Fran because he had an ear infection. And I kept telling him after 7 days of antibiotics, he still couldn't hear. And he's like, no, it's fine. And then I see him and his dad with like contraptions and you're like shoving stuff in there to get wax out. And he's looking in there and we're like, oh, we'll pour water in there. And I'm like, do not pour water in there because if you have a hole in your ear, which is what happens when you rupture an eardrum and it takes a while to heal. Mine was really severe. It's really, really bad. No. And then of course, when he finally goes to the ENT, they're like, oh yeah, your infection's so bad. And it looks like it ruptured at some point, and now it's infected again. And I was like, what point are you going to be like, wow, you were right. I had a ruptured eardrum.
Are we talking about drums? Remy loves drums. Go with a drum set. What did you say? So,
I need a new podcast partner.
Hey, I had a really bad cold.
I know. We already went through this. Were you listening?
And then I had to go to Dallas last week. And on the plane, my ears just clogged. So it's just been a whole thing, you know? I'm sorry.
Are you here? Are you here? Are you present with us?
The things that you don't believe, but there's some stuff I just cannot hear.
Just whatever you feel like not hearing it. You'll hear Remy be like, he's like, and then I'm like, hey, Fran. He's like,
not true. I don't hear any of them. He comes to my face and starts slapping me.
Every night in the middle of the night, I hear it like pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter. But I've learned to not wake you up because anytime I wake you up and I'm like, oh, there's Remy, you're like, you act like he's like fallen from like a 10-foot building. You're like he's on a railing. I'm like, no, he's like right there. He's fine. Yeah. So that's where we're at with our sleep schedule. And call us crazy that I'm like dying to have another baby. I'm like, I totally get it now. I want to have another, but we're talking through that because it's like, so are we crazy? I mean, is it crazy? But I was an only child, and I keep thinking about how, I mean, if we couldn't have another, it'd be fine. But at the same time, I think a lot about years from now, right? Because time goes so fast, and as hard as this first year or two of this, I think, was for me, personally, physically, mentally, emotionally, all of it. I like to think the second time around would be easier in the sense that you're not as stressed about what's to come. You would maybe enjoy those infant times a bit more than I did. And also when I look at other kids and kind of think about it, makes a lot of sense now. For instance, I used to think people were crazy. Those of you that have 4 and 5 kids, like that's crazy. And I don't personally want that many.
7, 8.
But I do understand why you do it, because once you get through that and you get more comfortable with it, to watch your kids grow up together and have these like family, especially this time of year, family holidays, things of that nature. Because it was quite lonely for me as a child in a lot of ways, because it was just, me and my mom and my dad. And then when my parents got divorced, it was often just like me and my mom. And so I do kind of yearn for a more family-oriented sort of experience. And, someone actually wrote me and said that they were listening to some of our older podcasts. I don't have the message in front of me because I'm using my phone to record this, but it was a really nice message. So thank you for sending that. But she said she recently, she's in the trenches of newborn life and had gone back to listen to some of our podcasts when we were in the trenches of newborn life, and said that it's given her like so much peace of mind to know how I was feeling, how we were feeling, to know that she's not alone. Because I mean, I kind of blacked out, but we were podcasting every week still. And I was probably just in the moment telling y'all what we were going through and how I was feeling. So if you are pregnant, don't listen to those yet. Wait until you're on the timeline. Because I don't want to scare you, but yeah, that's so hard. So I don't know. I'd love to hear from you after you had a second child, if that process was a bit easier. But yeah, I mean, we have a lot to work through with that, because I don't even know if I can get pregnant naturally. And Fran, of course, is like, we could practice more.
I'm very problem-oriented, problem-solving.
Just do.
Yeah.
We did that for about 6 months and originally, but I had those eggs and I thought that process would be a bit easier than it was. And I'm glad we have the process. But yeah, we also talk about, I would want to have my baby in Mexico, I think, because a lot of people that live here, of course, go to the United States to have their baby when they have family there and give the baby some citizenship by birthright, but which makes sense, but I don't think we'd have to do that. I'd like to have the baby here. My IVF and labor and delivery and all of that was not a dream of an experience. And I know we've talked about that. And I think that if I loved everything about the hospital and the doctor and everything that went along with that, I mean, I don't know if anyone loves it, but I'm sure some people do. But I had just every moment of that was frankly kind of a bad experience. And I don't think I ever talked too much in detail other than that one podcast, just because we had a healthy baby and that's all that matters. But I mean, everything from the IV to the epidural to the cesarean to the recovery of that to like me losing all that blood and being in the hospital and like never really being followed up with after that or explained to why that happened. It was nothing more than just like, oh yeah, sometimes it happens. It's like, what the fuck? Sometimes it happens that I just lose all the blood in my body. And like, I don't know what I'm expecting, like a cookie or something. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying? Like you just kind of expect some sort of explanation of what if I want to do this again? Like, should I not do this again? Am I not, is that dangerous for me to try and do this again? Like, I don't know. I mean, anyway, so the whole thing for me was like, maybe I just start from scratch. Like, let's just have a different experience,
Yeah.
And I'd be okay with that.
I think you're healthy. I don't foresee why you wouldn't,
Yeah, I think I'm healthy.
We just need to try.
Giselle's 41 and pregnant, but she's also like 100 times healthier than I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost apples to apples,
No.
2 feet of difference.
I think
But
she said she hasn't had a soda in like 20 years.
I believe that.
No, I believe it too. Like I haven't had a soda
What about
in 20
cocaine?
minutes. What?
I said, what about cocaine?
Her?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know, but I don't know.
Oh, maybe back in the day. I think she used to say she was super unhealthy, smoking cigs, drinking soda, modeling all the time, and then she just got super healthy. No, I think she's crazy healthy.
Wow. Cool.
What about cocaine? No, I don't think if she hasn't had soda, I doubt she's had cocaine. Though cocaine's like probably healthier than soda, right?
I would not be able to tell you, I haven't seen the nutritional label of it.
Yeah. I'm not that healthy. So
It comes from a plant,
I mean, I'm not doing hard drugs, but other than that, I mean, aside from not, I don't do hard drugs, I'm healthy. No, I wouldn't say I'm that healthy. I don't do hard drugs.
No.
We had such a nice anniversary, by the way, last weekend. We went to celebrate. I think, did you have a nice time?
I had a great time. I think I'm not all that a fan of a massage. Like it doesn't, like, it's cool and all, but it doesn't, the ROI, I don't see it. But it was great. Like,
I'd get one a day. You're kidding me. You don't see the ROI. I'd get one a day. Fran had been recently speaking about how he was kind of craving getting a massage, which he has never said in the entire duration of our relationship. Now, we've gotten a massage here and there, but it's usually me.
It's now 6 years.
And yeah, and so the other day I was thinking about it. I was like, oh my God, this is our anniversary. I always forget it. I'll just be honest, like, I just don't care. Like, I really don't. Like, I think that we live in the moment and I care about, look at that karma. Karma, my cough.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't care about you. It's just that sometimes with things like that, I don't, how people celebrate like every anniversary, and that's great if that makes them happy, but it's that I really don't care. Like, I wouldn't care if you didn't buy me something for our anniversary, like I really don't. And I think every other year you've been so great because you do remember and you always do something usually. And so maybe last year, I don't really remember, but one time he brought me like 100 roses, right? It was such an amazing display of roses. And I was like, wow, these are amazing. You're amazing. What are these for? And he's like, it was like our 4-year anniversary, whatever it was, 3 years. I was like, oh yeah. I had no idea. I just thought you were buying me 100 roses. Like, it was so cool. And anyway, I don't know. It's something weird about me. I'm like missing that chip. Like, I just don't care about it. I like acknowledging like, wow, we've been together 6 years. That's so cool. But it just so happened that you mentioned a massage and I'm like, I'm not going to let that opportunity pass me by. If you're actually in the mood, I'm going to book us a couples massage, the same hotel we stayed when we first started dating. And so we went, and at like 4:30, steamed, got this amazing massage. I had taken some gummies. I was like the perfect level of high that
Perfect.
You and I just laid there. We didn't even talk.
2 hours.
Oh, it was so good. I didn't want him to know how long it was going to be because they gave me the option. And I was like, yes, please, 2 hours. Why not? If we're going to do 90 minutes, might as well do 2 hours. And it was long, but it was great. We kind of passed out, and then we got dressed, showered off, and went to the hotel bar and
That was the hardest part, like just trying to function after that.
You were tired. Yeah, I felt amazing. I had like a glass of wine, a club sandwich. I was like, this was just so perfect. And I don't know, I just think it was really good for us. I would like to celebrate us once a month.
Sounds great.
It was a good night.
It was a great night.
I just think that it can be so hard. That's something that moving here has afforded us, having more support with our, our moms, obviously. And we have this great young babysitter that helps us a lot, is that we're actually able to connect more. And I think that's been so important, at least speaking from my end with the relationship, because for so long it's so hard, right? Like you don't even want to go on a date with your partner. You don't even really want to make the effort. We still haven't done an out of town trip without him. But now that we've started to at least once or twice a month, maybe even more, Fran and I are doing not that level of a date, but going out to eat
No,
or doing
but
something.
it's more accessible.
Yeah, because we have both of the grandmas here helping, and and we feel comfortable with everyone that we have to watch Remy. And it's been so, so nice. It just makes me very happy. So I highly recommend it, because I think that having a baby, that's why I think, am I crazy? Having a baby so hard on the relationship that you lose yourself as a woman for a long time. You don't feel the desire to be as intimate. You feel weird in your own body, right? Just hormonally, emotionally, you do. You feel weird because I didn't recognize myself after having a baby, and I didn't even deal with postpartum depression. So I can only imagine how bad that can get. Your identity completely changes. It's almost like overnight you meet this new version of yourself, and it takes you time that I still don't feel like who I was before. Now, I don't miss that person anymore, but I don't feel like I know her anymore. And so I'm very happy now. But Remy's 2.5 years old. It has taken me, I would say, at least a year and a half of that to get to a really good place of like, who am I now? I'm a mom. I still have a business, but my priorities have shifted, and our priorities shifted, like then you all of a sudden introduce something that we both love him probably more than we love each other or ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's an accurate statement. Like you love this child more than you love anything else. So then it shifts the dynamic of everything in the relationship.
Well, it's a different type of love. Like it's the love I feel for you is a different type of love that I feel for him. It's not.
Yes,
that's the beauty of love.
Yes, it's less. It's less.
It's a beauty of love that. No, it's not less. It's as much. I love you more.
I think
than him, but I love you more as a partner. I love him as a kid. Whenever we have another kid, I'll tell you which one I love more. But that is the beauty about love. You can give it away without taking it from someone else. Like I can love my mom so much, and if I love my sister, I'm not taking the love that I have for my mom to give it to my sister. It's like the love bandwidth is unlimited.
You love your mom more than you love your sister.
I love them differently, I love my mom because she gave me life. She's the most supportive person in the world. And I love my sister because she's my sister, and we were
Fran's like, I love everyone the same. I'm like, no, I think like at the end of the day, if we had to choose, like you would choose Remy's life over mine, and I would probably choose Remy's life over yours, and hopefully we're never
your words, not mine. But now I know where I'm standing. Hopefully we're never in an edge of a mountain. But I will for sure want you to save him instead of save me, for sure.
Right, of course.
Yes.
I know, that's what I mean. That's more, yeah, I understand. But yeah, it's crazy anyway. So I know it's kind of crazy to talk to even think about doing it all again. I feel old, but I do feel that as I've gotten older with the perspective I have of being an only child's wonderful in a lot of ways. From like an emotional maturity standpoint, I think a lot of the time, because you're always just around adults, you kind of have to deal with stuff by yourself. You have to self-soothe and entertain yourself. Whereas I look at you with your siblings, for instance, or just in general, it seems like a lot of fun. And it can be a nightmare too, I'm sure, right? But it does seem like a lot of fun.
It is both, but that coping, and it wasn't easy. Like it wasn't always easy. Like, but just knowing, and I see what you mean, like knowing that they're there, knowing that you can call, like it's a different level of friendship. It's just someone that knows your background as better as anybody could.
you know, my mom's of course really on board. And I think maybe that's also why I've warmed up. Being in Mexico makes you feel differently because there's so much more support for the family unit in the sense of, family, and you're just more welcome places and every restaurant, that sort of thing. I've talked about this before, but um, it seems obviously also, let's just the elephant in the room, like it's way more affordable to have a baby here too. I mean, I think my cesarean cost like $170,000. Now, insurance paid for, I don't know, half of it. I think I still ended up paying to have a baby with IVF and all of that. I mean, I think the total of that had to have been almost $60,000 or $70,000, which is just absolute insanity. I could have a cesarean here for like $5,000. And so, like, out of pocket, like with no insurance.
I don't know that. I don't know the comparison is that dramatic, but it is way
It's
more affordable.
way more affordable.
It is the treatment. Like,
yeah.
so we go to any doctor, just real quick, any doctor, specialist, the best top of the line, any doctor that could be our part to any doctor in the US or in the world, they will give you their WhatsApp number.
Yeah, I know. We talked about that when we were doing our health episode, and you can go back and listen to some that we've done specifically about our move here and kind of some pros and cons based on different things, such as medical attention. And it's been really, really great. We still don't even have necessarily like that go-to family doctor or whatever, but since we've all been sick, we've kind of hopped around. And so I think we'll find that, the right pediatrician for Remy, but just with the ones we have seen, it's been delightful and really communicative, really easy to have access to the doctors, especially if he's not getting better. I will say the strange thing here for me, a lot of things are strange, and I say it not in a negative way, strange because it's different, right? Like it's new and it's different, but they are not nearly as they're more reluctant to hand out antibiotics. And I know that everywhere in the world is that way for the most part, other than the United States, because it's like Z-Pack, Z-Pack, Z-Pack. Whereas sometimes you're really sick and you're like, my body needs it. Like I have still been dealing with a cough because they gave me such a mild specific antibiotic for the bronchitis that I've been sick for now like 10 days and can't get over it. And Fran's like, this is a good thing. We don't need to be taking antibiotics.
No,
and so
people die every day for resistance, especially in this country. Like right now, we have an outbreak of a stupid, weird named bacteria that it's killing people with antibiotics resistance.
What virus is going around?
Something, it has a weird name, but it has been killing people with that. Like we have 14 casualties so far,
Wow.
which is not much, but it's starting to pile. But it's just because of that. But something I was about to say, and I think to close out, is the common denominator of all doctors is that the holistic approach is merged with the drugs, with the pharmaceuticals. Like when I take Remy for a cold or a whatever, it's like, let's do this that are holistic. Like let's do their nose nebulizer, like do a nanny pot, like stuff like that.
And one more person says, have you used honey and lemon and water? I'm like, can you get me something in my veins? Shoot me up.
Yeah.
Are you going to inject that honey, ginger, lemon water?
I'm pretty sure in the same Craigslist where I found Elf on the Shelf, you can find a doctor that can just give you anything.
Yeah. I was like, I need a Z-Pack and a codeine. Yeah.
Like meeting in the parking lot of a Walmart, like, here it is, your Z-Pack.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, you know what? A lot of you have asked, we're going to let you go this week, keep it short, but if there's been a lot, actually, of you saying we need an update from Candy, my mother. And she is here. And she has some funny stories to tell.
So many funny stories.
Like, she seems to be thriving here more than she was in Baja. She's been getting out.
Or in Dallas.
Yeah, taking Spanish lessons. She's giddy over all the attractive
Mexican old
Mexican men in the neighborhood we live in. There are so many like older, like silver hair in their suits, walking around having lunch, like really attractive older men. Now, probably all married, not sure. I don't know how that goes, but anyway, I know. So she's like excited about it. So she's like going to the grocery store because she goes
to the grocery store once a day. Like,
Yeah.
that's her meetup space.
And do you know how much I love that she goes to the grocery store? We have a grocery store in our neighborhood that is, the best comparison would be like a miniature Whole Foods. Probably it's 2 levels, but upstairs you can like eat like you could at a Whole Foods.
It's like Whole Foods and Italy and Itzy's had a baby.
Yes,
Like they got
you're
into a
right.
threesome
Yeah.
and they had a baby.
I know some of those references are lost on people that don't live, come from Dallas.
Well,
but yeah, like an Italy and an Itzy's and a Whole
Well,
Foods.
I that's why I put Italy so I can hit
It's
both coasts.
so great because the food selection's great. It's small and it's nearby. And I mean, it's definitely like more expensive than some of the other ones, probably just like a Whole Foods is. But now she's like, I'm just sitting here having coffee. I know she's like hoping to run into this other man that she saw the last time that helped her when she was at the butcher counter trying to order some stuff. And he was like, I can help you if you need help in the grocery store.
If you need
today.
help with your meats.
He was like, my wife's out of town, but he kind of did this. And I'm thinking like, what does that mean? Are they even together? Or like, what? Obviously, at least he dropped the wife comment, but still. And now she's seen him like again since then. I'm like, oh, this is dangerous. But anyway.
She has seen him again?
Mm-hmm. She told me.
That's scandalous.
No, she saw him.
Hey.
She's like, he dresses nice. I do love that. People here dress really nice all the time. Like you never see people dressed like slobs out in public, which I thought I like slob life. I like rat life for sure. Like in the house, I'm rat life, like rat life till I die. But when you go out, people are dressed more chic and I like it. It makes me feel a little more put together. So I appreciate it. But okay, we'll have Candy on. If you have any questions for us for next week, let us know. I want to hear about your elf on the shelf techniques. I also want to hear from those of you with 2 kids plus how that's going for you. And we'll keep you posted on that. Until next week, we'll see you.
Bye-bye.